Hello everybody, and welcome back to our channel. This is Kelly with Edit With Me. Today we're going to be editing and processing this adorable Sunflare awesome image from start to finish and discussing peace. So if that sounds like it's interesting to you, I encourage you to stick around, press that likes button, and subscribe if you're interested with more content. I am excited to take this journey with you, so let's begin. Roll the intro. So, how is everybody doing today? I hope you are having a wonderful day or evening, no matter when you're watching this. I hope that the world was wonderful for you and that you stuck up for yourself and you were strong and inspired and encouraged today. We are going to be working on this super sweet girl's image I shot a couple of months ago. Some of my favorite clients, believe it or not, I've actually shot for this little girl since she was 10 months old, possibly. And it's been wonderful getting to see her grow up. So I just thought we would do some fun stuff. I realized in the intro, I forgot to show you where our end point is going to be for this image. So we are going to take it from this to this, possibly further. We'll see. Today, we're actually going to be editing from scratch. No presets, no anything. And the reason I do that every once in a while is I want you to really get your confidence boosted. I want you to be able to look at an image at a blank slate, imagine where you want to go with it, and build up from there. We are going to do a little exercise today. I am going to, since we're going to be talking about peace, I am going to do a couple of exercises with you that actually bring me peace when I'm editing or when I'm shooting. And the first one is, I want you to close your eyes. Go ahead, do it. I know it's silly, but trust me. We're going to block out the outside world, okay? So just close your eyes. Take a big breath. I'll do it too. Let it out slowly. Okay, now open your eyes. Look at this image. I want you to quickly identify, if you were the editor, what are 3 things that you would do off the bat with this image? Go. Okay, I'll tell you my first 3. I want to really big up this Sunflare. I want to play with the motion in her hair, and I want to increase my vibrancy, okay? Don't know if that's what yours was too, but those are going to be my goals for this image today. One of the things about having peace as a photographer is accepting where you are, making peace with that. You don't need to be the world's flashiest photographer, the best at anything, to be incredibly successful and incredibly satisfied with your job. So we're going to start talking about that in a minute. But before we do, I want to kind of dive in and explain my process to you. Those of you that have seen all of my editing videos, you know that even when I start with a preset, I start all the way at the bottom. I like to do my mask changes first and then get into lighting. So I'm going to start all the way at the bottom here. I'm going to remove chromatic aberration, increase my sharpening, increase my noise reduction. Now, this is not a perfectly in focus image. Do you think I might have done that on purpose? Yes? No? Maybe? I didn't know what I was doing with my camera. You might joke. Your imagery does not need to be perfection to be emotional and beautiful and magical, okay? So I actually love the way that the sunlight is setting her hair on fire here. And if you look, the middle of her dress is in focus, her headband is in focus, so it's still definitely salvageable. The reason I chose this image, I had 20 other ones that were beautiful, but the reason I chose this image was 2 reasons. This right here, look at that natural flare that came through the trees. And I love the way that you can still see her eye here and her smile, okay? Doing motion shots like that, you can, if you've done any of them for any length of time, you know that they can be quite tricky trying to get it correctly. And I just love the way that this image spoke to me. So we're going to jump in. I am going to be doing some editing effects here, and I'm going to be talking about peace while I'm doing that. So if this is your first time here, welcome. We process images from raw to ready here, and I do not proclaim to be a Lightroom or a Photoshop expert. actually quite opposite. The goal for starting this channel was that I wanted to give other photographers a place to feel loved, appreciated, not to feel quite so lonely in their day. And thus this channel was born. So I am going to edit this how I would normally do it, exactly if I were to deliver it for a client. And I know you all like to watch that happen. So we're going to get into this. I just made my normal changes here. I'm going to come in and, as always, I'm going to start with contrast and shadows first. I don't like changing the overall exposure necessarily, especially when I've nailed it back here. So I'm going to see what I can do with my adjustments first, and then I'm going to get going with the exposure. That looks to be about right for me. So now I'm just going to come in here and creep up my exposure. Okay, so let's get on to our big, wild topic for the day. I want to discuss peace. When I say that word, what comes into your mind? Is it silence from your children fighting and bickering? Is it sitting with a steaming hot cup of coffee with birds chirping and a waterfall in the background maybe? What brings you peace? I want to talk today about having peace in your work, in yourself, and that's quite a tricky thing to achieve. Peace can mean different things for different people as well, right? So we are going to get into that, and I want to start it off as I usually do. If you don't know me very well, I'll explain myself a tiny bit here. I am very moved by words. That's kind of strange coming up from a photographer. You'd think that I would be moved by images, which I am, but I am very moved by words. Words have the ability to comfort and guide me. I am somewhat obsessed with other people's wisdom. I go seeking it when I'm lost. I read a ton, and they've always had a magical kind of effect on me. So I love other people's wisdom and seeking encouragement from their words. So I usually will have 3 or 4 Pinterest boards worth of quotes at any one time. But this one in specific really came out to me, especially in our political culture, in our world, in our wherever you may be. I don't want to date this video, but as I'm shooting, it is May of 2021, and the whole world seems to be like a little bit unhappy and definitely needing some peace in it. But this is from St. Francis, who was a guy alive very long ago. And the quote is, "Never be in a hurry. Do everything quietly and in a calm spirit. Do not lose your inner peace for anything whatsoever, even if your whole world seems upset." Wow. I mean, does that not just resonate with you guys? I'm feeling chills just myself from that, because I cannot tell you how much I need to hear that in my everyday life. It's not hard to see looking out your window or at the TV screen. The whole world seems like it's losing its marbles lately. Everyone just seems so angry and tired and stressed and in a rush, and doesn't seem to be a whole lot of inner peace or outer peace for that matter going on in our world. But I want you to take heart, dear friend. We're going to stop that cycle right now. We are going to train ourselves to be peaceful, to find peace in our sessions, not to be rattled or ruffled when things don't go well, not to be frustrated or down on ourselves when our images don't look like how we want. It's not hard to do. You just need to start off with a little bit of perspective. Our job as photographers, as creators, is to really put something into the world that has not been there before. Okay? That's why as we go on with this series, guys, you guys are going to hear me say a lot that I want you to do your own thing and that the world needs your lens. And I don't just say that as lip service. It's 100% true. I don't need another, insert your favorite photographer's name here. I don't need another one of those. I need you. I need your view, your thoughts, your lens, your perspective on things. I'm tired of being in an echo chamber where there's only one way to do things in one perfect lighting scenario and one perfect styling. No, enough. What is it that brings you happiness and you peace about what you're doing? You do not need to be someone else to be successful. You need to be you, the best version of you. right? And a lot of that comes with having inner peace. Now, I'm not going to tell you I'm an expert at this. I don't just sit there in my yogi clothes, humming and chanting all morning while I'm editing. Nay, nay, good friend, nay, nay. That is not me. However, I'm able to carry this with me. Keep in mind, Kelly, why are you doing this? And if I ask myself that question enough, I'm able to carry that tranquility and that calmness and that confidence that brings my clients comfort in me, okay? When I walk into a newborn session, it wouldn't do anyone any good if I was frazzled or stressed out about the flat tire or the rattlesnake that I ran over, which that happened to me yesterday on the way to a session. But did I say anything to my clients about it? No, I didn't, because it's my job to come into that situation with 2 small children and a newborn and lend peace to the situation, even if I'm not feeling it inside. But why? Why do that? Isn't that fake, you might be asking? No, it's not, because your job as a professional, as a creative, when you go into a session, is to lend that family your confidence and your vision and your peace, not to borrow their craziness. I'm going to stop right here real quick. I pulled this into Photoshop. There's a few bits and bobs I'd like to change while we're chatting. And I got super deep in there. So I'm not going to do any work for a second while I make my point, and then we'll move on. But when I was a teacher, I taught all sorts of ages. I started with infants, worked my way up. I had 2-year-olds who were biting and potty training all at the same time. I had kindergarten when I left. I spent 10 years teaching. And one of the most wise things I had ever heard in my entire teaching career was this quote. And it came from Becky Bailey, and it's not a direct quote, but it was talking about children who were tantruming or having moments of upset. And what she said is, instead of reacting to their chaos, you need to lend them your calm. And what she meant by that was, when a child is acting upset, you want to sit with them, hold their hands gently, and say, you sound really mad. Let me teach you how to calm down. And you literally breathe for them. They watch you, they hear your voice, they sense your breathing, and it works. It calms them down. I look at my sessions as that. I don't want to come into a family's crazy. They may have gotten into a fight on the way there. They may have been frustrated because their 3-year-old hated her leggings, or their 5-year-old boy thinks his shirt is boring or itchy. Who knows? Your job as the creative in that situation is to lend them your calm, not borrow their chaos. So if you can keep that with you as you're working and as you're going into your sessions and dealing with people's expectations in real life, I think it's going to help a lot in bringing you peace. Okay, I'm going to put a pin in that for just a minute, and we're going to talk about what I'd like to do while we're in Photoshop here. Again, not a Photoshop expert, just a functional editor. So I am going to really work on this Sunflare, which I love so much, and it doesn't need a whole lot of our help. I'm going to add some sharpening. I'm going to clone out a little bit of distraction here. And then that's basically it. So I'm going to start as I do with every single image, dear friend. I am going to click my universal prep, which that's portraiture and a small bit of sharpening, and that's it. There's no magic button. It's just an action I made for myself, so I wouldn't have to do this with every single image. And so while that runs, I am going to take another look at my image. I'm going to test the white balance to my eye. Is this yellow true to life color? Yes, it absolutely is. Is the bark believable, or is it too green or too purple? I like to do that as I'm editing and kind of waiting in those moments, just so that I stay abreast of exactly where I want to go. Because I don't know if you've noticed this, but too often while we are editing, something looks really good on our subject, but then we pull back and we go, whoa, it makes that grass look neon, and I don't like that. It's important to constantly ask yourself those little checks, okay? Okay, so now that's run. I am going to sharpen my subject here. Oh, pardon me. Sorry about that. I'm going to sharpen my subject here, and I am going to really big up that sky, okay? So we're going to start by choosing Smart Sharpen, and I'm going to get back on my piece thing. So once I realized that as a teacher, it has applied in every aspect of my life, in arguments with my husband, in dealings with my parents, in discussing and disciplining my niece and nephew, in every aspect of my life. I come at it from, I need to lend them my calm and not borrow their chaos. So am I perfect? No. Do I get upset? Sure. But I will tell you what, since I heard that quote, I have not once yelled or shouted again. And I've had plenty of reasons to. But it has always stuck with me, dear friend. I cannot walk through this world borrowing people's chaos. I need to instead lend them my peace, my calm. Okay. I think if that resonates with you, and I'm not going to sit here and force it down your throat, but I think if that resonates with you, all of a sudden there's a tiny perception shift in your mind. And you realize that you really do have a cause and effect on this earth, right? The people around you, you have a tangible, easy way to increase the peace in them as well. Okay. I am going to go in here, and I think it might be kind of fun to add a bit of a Sunflare here. Now you might be asking, Kelly, why in the world would you do that? You already have a very cool flare right there. Reason being, I like to play creatively with shots like this. If it was a family and they were all smiling and interacting, I wouldn't mess with it. But when it's something like really artsy and fun, I like to really exaggerate what's there. And so I am going to come in here and add that Sunflare. I just love that one. That's one of my absolute favorites. I'm going to see what that does. Oh, love it. Okay, now, a little thing about placing embedded things. You want to make sure that, see how I have my sun right there in the center? You want to make sure that that's exactly where your natural sun is so that it's believable, okay? We don't want something fake. We don't want to pull it here in her hair. You know what I'm saying? We want to really, really emphasize the true nature of what happened in the image. So, okay, I am going to double click to place that. I'm going to come around here and check and make sure there's no marks I need to take care of. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now, I'm also going to add a little bit of here. Do you see this rainbow flare I caught in the edge of the lens? I'm going to actually add a little bit of drama to that too. Why not? It's fun. It's a day. Let's do it. Place embedded. And I'm going to come down here and I want to do, let's see. I think I want to, so many choices. I am not going to big up my lens flares. There's a million on Etsy. You can choose which ones you love. They can be as cheap as $2 or as expensive as $20, but I want you to play around and see what you love. You know what, guys? I think I'm going to do this one. That's what I was first drawn to. Let's do it. Okay. I am going to flip this horizontally. I don't like the direction it's going because I want to just emphasize this. I don't want to change it. So I'm going to shrink that way down. Pull it down here. I'm going to change my blend mode to screen and see if I like that. Oh yeah, I do. I like it a lot, except I don't like the white part. So I'll show you how to fix that. Double click to place. And I'm going to come in here with my eraser. And I'm noticing there is a little bit of shading here. I don't know if you can see that or not. We want to rasterize that so we can make changes to it. I'm going to erase that off of the tree. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm actually going to brush off that part as well. I don't love that bright sun, and I think it's meant to be near an actual sun flare. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to erase that off as well. I'm going to change my opacity to slightly lighter because I want to be able to blend this. And I'm just going to go around the edges, make it nice and believable here. Okay, let's flatten that. Alrighty. This is looking awesome, awesome. Now, we're going to take it one more step, and I'm going to actually increase this bokeh. Do you see all this beautiful bokehing going on in the trees? I'm going to actually increase that by cloning a little bit of it. Now, you have to be very careful when you clone, dear friends. Do not get carried away. It ends up looking very, very fake very quickly. So I'm just going to grab half, and I'm just going to play a little bit in this tree, in these trees up here, and just add a tiny bit of bokehing up here. I love that. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to play with the colors over here a little bit too. Oh, so cool. Actually, I might see if I can do, whoops. I might see if I can do this as well. That's what happens when you hit window instead of alt. Oh, I'm loving that. Just that tiny little dot effect makes it so much better. Okay, what do you guys think? I think it's looking really good. Let's save this bad boy and let's get back onto our piece. Okay, so here are 2 tips that you can do to keep your piece shooting. We're going to break this into parts. We're going to do shooting, we're going to do editing, and then we're going to do just normal business life. So here are 2 tips that you can use, and you're welcome to use them, steal them, however you want to work it. Step number 1, when I am driving to my session, Let's drag this over to its pre. Boop. When I'm driving to my session, I like to do this thought exercise. Let's look at the before. Okay, so there's the before that we've gotten so far. Here's the after, right? Oh, I love it. I do want to sharpen her hair just a little bit more and make it a little more believable. It's super orange and I don't love that. I want the light and not the saturation. So I'm going to brush that a little bit while we're talking. All right, so here's step one. Are you ready? On the way to a session, I want you to go through this mental exercise with yourself. You're welcome to borrow it or make your own. Doesn't really matter. But the point is we're going for thoughtfulness and presence, okay? I want you to tell yourself whatever is going to happen in this session is going to be beyond my control. I can react or I can influence. And I'm going to choose to influence. Okay? That's the first thing I say. I don't want it to react to what's happening. I want to influence it to be what I want to happen. All right? That's the first thing. Second thing is, you are only going to be in these people's lives for 45 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on how long your session is. Maybe 3 hours if it's a newborn, who knows? But that's the only snippet of you that these people are going to get to see. Today, this week, this year, this lifetime, who knows? You want that snippet to be the absolute best it can be. And I'm not talking necessarily about putting on a show or being fake. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you want the attributes and the characteristics that are naturally in you. You want those to come out to these people because you only get one chance to show them who you are. Okay? So if you show up and you're this wonderful paradigm of peace and tranquility and they just go, oh, she was wonderful. Our toddler was having the biggest meltdown and it didn't even faze her. That is the part of your personality that you want to put forward to your clients, right? You don't want to seem flustered and frustrated. You don't want to borrow their chaos. You want to lend them your calm. And so try to have that kind of perspective when you're on your way to shoots. All right. The second thing is super simple, and I'm sure you've heard it before. When something is happening in your session that is really flustering you, a way to get peace is to ask yourself this question. If this was my child, how would I want the person to deal with it? And it sounds really crazy, but it will keep you from doing those snap interactions, snap things where you go, oh, shoot, I should have handled it differently. Stop in the moment, guys. There's no reason you can't. You don't have to be shooting 90,000 images or 102% of your session. It's okay to take a breather for 2 seconds, but have this sense of mind to go, if this was my baby, how would I want the photographer to handle it? Would I want them to ignore it? Would I want them to say something to me? Would I want them just to bend down, talk to the kid and chill him out? You know, how would I want them to handle it if it was me? 9 times out of 10, that works perfectly. And I don't need to go any further than that. So those are my 2 little tips. Now, how to be peaceful while you're editing. Remember, we are lucky enough to have this job. People are coming to you for your viewpoint. People are trusting you as an expert. And that's pretty awesome. So no matter what kind of day you're having, if it's a great day, a terrible day, bring that piece of, hey, I'm the expert here. These people came to me for my knowledge, for my abilities, for my personality, for my lens. I'm going to make this work. Tell yourself that as many times as you need to. Write it on a Post-it. Put it on your computer. I mean, have it as a desktop or a wallpaper on your phone. Whatever it's going to do to give you that inner peace and confidence, my sweet friend. Okay, guys, guess what? I think we are done. All right, I am going to show you the quick before again. Dark and dingy, rough and raw. 2, ready. Oh, super fun. I hope you've enjoyed this journey with me today. I so have with you, and I hope that this will help you keep that peace in your life and carry it forward and let others borrow it as well. Lend it out to others freely. As always, I thank you for coming with me. I hope you had a wonderful time. And don't forget, you are loved. You are worthy. You are valuable, and the world needs your lens. Stay safe. I'll see you next time. Bye.